Today I want to provide a little deeper insight to how your type can tend to change during times of stress and during times of growth. It's important to remember that your Enneagram type is fluid and, depending on the circumstance, can show up in a variety of ways, ranging from very healthy to average to unhealthy. Another way to say this would be, depending on the situation, are you using your Enneagram superpowers for good, or are your Enneagram superpowers not serving you well in that moment? This is self-awareness that can be gained by learning about something like the Enneagram. So, I want you to imagine yourself on a timeline, going through your life, experiencing the world through the lens of your Enneagram type. We all tend to move along our timelines every day with this lens, and how you typically behave is rooted in this type. So for me, I'm a 6, and on an average day, I will be reacting and behaving somewhere along the spectrum of using my 6 powers for really positive things, like confidence in a decision I've made without second guessing it, or flexing my loyalty muscle to help see a commitment through all the way to the end. Or some less productive 6 tendencies like continuously challenging or judging something that can then become a barrier to moving on to the next thing. As we move through life, we are always somewhere along our own Enneagram spectrum, and if nothing ever changed around us, we'd most likely stay right there and be pretty content from day to day. But as we all know, our days are not always average, and along our timeline, we encounter events and experiences daily that trigger change in our behavior. Easier said, the only thing constant is change. Building your awareness around how you may tend to act in these situations will help you to operate in the most healthy and productive areas of your type, and in the types you lean towards during times of growth and times of stress. Finally, don't confuse the word stress as a purely negative word. For the purposes of today, think of stress as situational, or the change you can encounter in your environment. This trigger can teach us important things about how we grow from our experiences. Once stress occurs, or the change in your environment, you can begin the longer-term work of intentional growth. Developing new patterns of growth is slow, and it happens over time. So, let's dive in and look at how your type can show up during times of stress or change and in times of growth. Now that you know a bit more about how change can affect your type and what true growth looks like, take some time to discuss with your colleagues your own experiences. You may find that your group has a common experience, for example, living through the year of 2020, that you can discuss. Or feel free to discuss another experience that you've had that's major in your life, becoming a parent, moving to a new city, working in a new job, or navigating through a family crisis, or a few memorable experiences many of us have had. Feel free to reference the slide, and keep in mind that stress really just means change. It doesn't have to be negative. Change is situational. Healthy and sustainable growth is intentional and takes time. At the end of your breakout, you will be notified by a countdown that your time is coming to a close, and you will be directed back to the main screen. But please don't let the conversation and connection with your colleagues stop here today. My hope is that you will continue to connect with each other and share your experiences, and most importantly, what's working for you. Thank you, and enjoy your conversations. Our authentic creatives, otherwise known as Enneagram 4, are best known for their ability to think deeply, be in touch with their emotions, and have the ability to express themselves. The most highly self-aware 4s are able to find a good balance between their own feelings and remain empathetic for others. High self-awareness 4s typically have a very strong EQ, also known as emotional intelligence, and the work they produce is very meaningful. At an average level of self-awareness, 4s are able to courageously tell the truth and are passionate and creative. They may work very hard, but not always find the value in their own contributions. At the lowest level of self-awareness, a 4 may compare themselves to others and become very expressive with a sense of inferiority towards others. They can become very focused on what is missing or what is not good through their eyes. In moments of stress and major change, a 4 tends to lean towards the behaviors and actions of a 2. This can look like fully relying on others to meet their needs or even becoming jealous. But at its best, a 4 will shift their focus onto others and can be fulfilled by helping people. Collaboration and ideal sharing with others can help a 4 to counterbalance their usual tendency of prioritizing their internal experiences. 4s who are intentionally seeking growth over time will gain self-awareness when tapping into the most well-known traits of our hyper-focused 1s. A big watch out here though. 1s and 4s can tend to be too obsessed with perfection and precision, so in the very best case scenario, 4s should work a balance between applying their talent to their dreams and finding the discipline that is needed to get things done. Physical activity and exercise is a great tool for 4s to use in times of stress or change to rejuvenate their physical senses and spark creative ideas.